Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bab al-Riba. So Bab al-Riba, Raba, Yarbu, it means something that goes up. Okay, so something that goes up here, Raba Yarbu, like in the Quran Allah mentions. فَهُوَ يَرْبُو عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Yarbu goes up in the eyes of Allah. However, the terminology, the legal terminology of this riba refers to exchanging of something from one side to the other, where on one side there's an excess. There's an excess. So that's the whole reason it's called riba, is because on one side there's an excess. So riba generally in the books are mentioned on two types of riba. One is called riba of what we know as today usury. So basically you borrow someone money and then you say, if you give it back to me after a month, you're going to give me the money back plus a certain amount on top. So the excess on top, that's riba. This is known as riba al-fadl, excess. So in the Quran, when Allah talks about interest, this is the type that was being done at the time. So basically when you borrow money from the bank and they give you money and then they say you got to pay this much interest on top, that's called riba al-fadl. That we're not going to be talking about that here. This chapter doesn't talk about that type. This chapter talks about the second type. What's the second type? Second type is where you sell or exchange two things that are of the same genus, which are weighed or measured. This is known as the chapter of riba. So let's say you have rice for rice, gold for gold, silver for silver, etc. So these kind of things. You understand that?
What's the name of this one?
This is known as riba al-jins, riba al-qadr. There's no specific name for it, it's just you understand the concept of it, how it works. So when they say riba, in the books of fiqh, this is what the type they're usually referred to. Okay, so now, so like I said, we're not going to be talking about the first type, we're going to be talking about the second type, this type. So this whole chapter is based upon a narration from the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, this narration has reached us through a very strong level. Not at the level of necessarily mutawatir, but mashhur, very strong level. So this is why the scholars have, given a lot of care and attention in the books of fiqh. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, do not sell gold for gold, silver for silver, dates for dates, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, salt for salt, except that it is equal amounts and there and then. The transaction is and exchange is done there and then. You understand that? Now, even though the Prophet ﷺ only mentioned these 6 things, it doesn't mean that there's only these 6 things which have, riba associated to it. Because this hadith is based upon underlying illas, underlying reasons Yeah, there's a reason for why the Prophet ﷺ has chosen these things. So the scholars, they try to derive what the reason is under this. So the Hanafis have drawn from this hadith, they've said two things: qadar and jins. Qadar and jins. Qadar means measurement, anything that's weighed or measured, and jins means the same genus. Have you got that? So in other words, if there's two people, Shakil and Ahsan, and they're both selling to each other, if the items on both sides are the same genus, like gold for gold, silver for silver, dates for dates, wheat for wheat, barley, etc., and they're both items that are weighed and measured. So gold is usually weighed, silver is usually weighed, dates are usually measured, the other stuff are usually measured. Yeah, so these things have to be sold equally, and they have to be exchanged there and then. Everyone understand that? Now, the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned the threats, or mentioned threats in the narrations regarding those who deal with usury and interest. Yeah, because usury and interest is something which destroys an economy. Yeah, people's livelihood is based upon jobs, working, earning, exchanging, buying, selling, and then usury is based upon greed, pure greed. That people are when someone is in need of money and they want to borrow money, yeah, Islam teaches us you should help them. You shouldn't try and take advantage of them. They're vulnerable. So if someone needs money, they ask you for money. If you can't give it, that's fine. If you can give it, give it to them, but don't benefit from it. Okay, it comes in narration. Every loan where you benefit from it somehow, in a material way, that's haram. Any loan. Yeah, because Islam teaches helping other people, supporting other people. And when you put a burden on someone, when you put an interest on someone, or they've already got a burden on them because they're borrowing money from you, and now you put an extra, so it becomes very difficult. It's let's say gold, yeah, small amount of gold for a large amount of gold. So again, this is something where there's inequality on either side. If you don't use any of the things which are riba based things, like which are not weighed and measured and which are not the same genus, then it's fine, you can sell as much as you like, no problem with that. So everyone understand that? Okay, so this is why riba is not allowed in in this. So in transactions, I told you before, there are several things that are totally banned in transactions. One of them is interest. Yeah, interest, any form of interest in a transaction renders it impermissible. And likewise, any sort of uncertainty in a transaction, yeah, is also impermissible. And also gambling as well. Yeah, all these kind of things render a transaction impermissible.
Ustad,
Yeah.
the Quran ayahs, is it referring to this type of riba or the first one? Or
The Quran ayahs, they refer to the first type of riba. Yeah, because that was the more prevalent one. That's the one that was more harmful to the people.
And this type just comes from hadith, it's not mentioned in the Quran.
No, this type, the essence of it is in the Quran. Yeah, the essence of it is in the Quran. Just like all transactions that we mentioned, these details are not in the Quran, but the essence of these transactions are in the Quran. You can find them in the Quran. Does that make sense? It's like salat, the way we pray, it's not in the Quran, but the essence of it is there. Okay, so ar-riba muharramun. The first question is this now. What is riba? So he says riba is unlawful, haram. Fi kulli makilin, in every measurement. Now, I told you this when we did zakat, that the Arabs' system of measuring things is different from our measurements. And I gave you all the calculations, the different types of measurements. But the two normal types of ways of measuring something is by cups. So they have different size cups. We have liters, milliliters, and they used to have wazn, weight. Yeah, where you weigh something. So a riba is haram, is unlawful. Fi kulli makil, in every single measured item, or mawzunin, or weighed item, إذا bi'a, when it is sold, bijinsihi, in exchange, bahi, in exchange for the same genus, its genus, mutafadilan, in excess. In other words, one side has excess. So for example, someone sells 2 cups of dates for 1 cup of date. Yeah, same genus dates are. So therefore this wouldn't be allowed. Yeah, it has to be equal. And someone came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, but this is our business, how are we gonna bypass this? The Prophet says, simple. Exchange the dates for cash, sell the dates for cash, use the cash and buy what you want. Yeah, so use the cash, because if you use a different commodity from what you have, or a different means of sale, then the problem of greed goes. Yeah, mutafadilan, excess. Now in this society, obviously there isn't any sort of rules regard to interest, unless it's maybe extortion, people who have the really high rates of interest, 1,000% interest or 3,000% interest, like some of these advertisements that recently got done over. Yeah, so they have some limits, but technically in this society interest isn't a problem. Yeah, because they make money from money, where in Islamically you can't make money from money. Money is not there as a means. Gold and silver, cash, is not there as a means for you to make money from the money. You make money from services or from commodities. Yeah, that's how we're supposed to be making money, not through cash itself. Okay, everyone understand what the father this sentence? Right, what's the illa now? Like I said to you, the Hanafis have taken out their own illa, the Shafi'is have taken out their own illa, the Malikis have taken out their own illa. They looked at this hadith, and different scholars have taken out a different reason for why the Prophet ﷺ mentioned these 6 things. So what did the Hanafis take out? What's the illa? What's the underlying reason for this law? It's al-kayl ma'al jins, measuring with genus, or wazn ma'al jins. So whenever you find in a transaction on both sides kayl is being used, cups, and both sides the genus is the same, that's where you're going to find riba. And if you find a transaction on both sides the weight is being used, and both sides the commodity of transaction is the same, then riba. Whether it's something which is edible, whether it's non-edible, like rice. 6 things don't mention rice, but we've understood applies to rice as well. You're selling rice for rice. Yeah, there could be a big company that instead of them directly buying things off another company, they'll sell commodities. They'll sell rice for rice. Or whether it's something that's non-edible, like chalk. Yeah, a big company has sand or chalk or something like that. Yeah, so these things are sold in measured quantities. So this is not allowed. You understand that?
So it's not just edible things, it could be anything.
Yeah. This is according to Hanafis, yeah? Whereas according to Shafis, they say no, it has to be a ta'am wa thamaniya. Something that's food and cash, currency. So anything besides food and currency, no riba in it. So they say there's no riba in chalk. If you want to sell chalk for chalk, no riba, because they've taken out from this hadith that it has to be something edible and has to be currency. And the Malikis, they take out from this another reason. So they'll say, no, it's not that. It's something that can be stored for a long time. Ad-dikhar wal-qut, and it has to be something which is like a food, a foodstuff. So this is actually like one of the difficult kind of chapters, because there's quite a lot of difference in the madhabs about this. But we're not going to go into those madhabs, we're just going to stick to what the Hanafi say.
Do any of the scholars, have they ever sort of tried to say, narrow down what a genus is? So an ajwa date is a different genus to an umber date.
They try to do that, yeah. So dates, they consider the genus, they base it on what the aim of it is. That's how they define a genus. So for example, like a man is a different genus from a woman, because the aims and objectives of a man are different from that of a woman. Dates, what's the aims and objectives of dates? It's usually the same thing. So they say it's the same genus.
Regardless of the fact that
Regardless.
Adolf is so much more expensive than
Yeah,
stuff.
regardless. Yeah, it's just the same genus. Everyone got that? Okay. So, فَإِذَا بِيَ الْمَكِيلُ بِجِنْسِهِ. So, when a measured item is sold in exchange for its genus, or a mawzoon item, a weighed item is sold in exchange for its genus, مِثْلًا بِمِثْلٍ. The similar in exchange for the similar. In other words, the amounts are the same. 1 kilo of wheat for 1 kilo of wheat. 1 liter of wheat for 1 liter of wheat. 1 gram of gold for 1 gram of gold. As long as they're the same, mithl bi mithl, on both sides. Jaz al bay. Transaction is jaiz, permissible. Wa in tafadala. However, if on both sides there's a difference, 1 liter of wheat for 2 liters of, like 1 liter of Pakistani wheat for 2 liters of African wheat, right? Both different amounts, not allowed. Or 1 gram of high quality gold, 24 karat gold, 1 gram of 18 karat gold, 2 grams of 18 karat gold, not allowed. Yeah, everyone understand? Okay.
Sometimes, when we do this, they go to the shop and they, the old gold, they want to exchange it for new gold. That's not even allowed then.
Yeah, so is there anything else, that's going to come a bit later, but is there anything else mixed with the other gold?
I don't know.
Is there any diamonds or other things? Or is there any other extra cash on top? So we'll come back to that. Okay, now, what if someone has good quality rice, like high quality rice, in exchange for low quality rice? Or someone has like 24 karat gold in exchange for 18 karat gold? Or someone has, high quality ajwa dates for low quality ajwa dates? Do you still have to keep all those, the equality between the two sides? Yes, you have to. Yeah, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, جَيِّدُهَا وَرَدِيئُهَا sawa. The good quality and the bad quality, because we're looking at genus. Yeah, we're looking at genus again. If you want to overcome this, all you have to do is sell it for cash. Sell it for cash, and that's how you can do it. وَلَا يَجُوزُ بَيْءُ الْجَيِّدِ. It is not permissible to sell jayyid, good quality commodity, birradi, in exchange for bad quality commodity. مِمَّا فِيهِ riba, of those items which are riba items, riba based items. إِلَّا مِثْلًا بِمِثْلٍ, unless they are exact for exact, the same for the same. Everyone got that? Okay. Now, what if this is possible? One of these two things, the qadr and the jins, one of them is missing. For example, like if I sell dates for wheat. So on one side there's dates, Shakil's got dates, Hassan's got wheat. Is the genus the same? No. But are they weighed and measured items? Yeah, so they're both measured, aren't they? In cups, in liters. So because they're both measured, right, one of the things out of the two is there. So what's the rule? So there's 3 basically scenarios when it comes to selling commodities. Either the 2 items on both sides are going to be the same genus and they're going to be the same like way of selling, measure by weight. If that's the case, then the rule is what we mentioned earlier, they have to be sold equally. Number 2, if however one of those 2 conditions is missing, either the qadr is missing or the jins is missing, then you can sell as much as you like, so long as it's sold there and then in the gathering. Yeah. And number 3, if both are missing, both conditions are missing, then you can sell as you like. So what we've been doing so far before we started Kitab al-Riba is we were talking about this third type. Like I want to sell a mobile phone for a kilo of dates, yeah, or a liter of dates. That's fine because They're both opposite jinns, different jinns. And what? And they're not both measured. Dates are measured, but the mobile phone is not measured. You don't sell it in weight or measurement.
Will that fall in the second category?
No, because they both have to be weighed or measured. Or they both have to be of the same type.
Would it matter if one commodity is weighed, but the other one is measured?
Then that's different.
Right.
Then you can't sell it. Then you can't be equal. So you can sell it as you like.
Right.
So how do you understand that? Because I thought if you sold the mobile, for instance, for a laptop,
Yeah.
then both jins and colour are missing.
Yeah.
If that's dates, then colour is there.
Only one side.
So wouldn't that fall?
No.
Oh.
So it's got to be on both sides. Yeah, on both sides. Everyone understand that? So look, he says, وَإِذَا عَدِمَ الْوَصْفَانِ If the two wasfs, if the two sifas are absent, what does that mean? Al-jins, meaning the jins is absent. وَالْمَعْنَى الْمَضْمُومِ إِلَيْهِ The meaning which is added to it. What meaning is added to it? Wazn? Okay. So instead of saying wasn't okay again, he just said it in a posh way. Al-ma'na al-madhmum ilayhi. So if the two attributes are missing on both sides, or on the sides, jins wal ma'na al-madhmum ilayhi, hallat tafadul, you're allowed to sell in excess. Tafadul means excess selling is allowed. One nasa means delayed payment as well. So delayed, like we said in the beginning, remember we said riba, two things have to be done, equal and there and then.
Sorry, can you just explain that again? So, just looking at that, so if the two sifas don't exist,
Jins.
the jins and it's the ma'na I don't understand.
Yeah, so ma'na, the meaning which is added to jins in riba. What ma'na is added to jins in riba to make it haram?
Qadr.
Yeah, qadar and
Oh, okay.
qadar. So qadar meaning kail, makil and mawzun. Short way of saying that. So halat tafadul, you can sell in excess, and nasa. So for example, I want to sell a pen in exchange for a table. If I want to sell a pen in exchange for a table, it's fine. You can give the pen now and take the table tomorrow. If I want to sell a pound in exchange for dates, I can give the pound now, pick up the dates tomorrow. If I want to sell a house in exchange for wheat, it's fine. Yeah, total opposite things.
It's not, sorry, what's the illah for saying if one of them are missing, either the qadr or the jins, for it to be done there and then? Why can't it be done like this, or different?
Because these are still, the Prophet ﷺ said this. Yeah, he said that if one of these things is missing, then bi'u kayfa shi'tum yadan bi yadin. Sell as you like, however, it has to be done there and then. Okay. What if only one of the attributes is missing? وَإِذَا وُجِدَا And if both of them are found, حَرُمَ التَّفَاضُلُ وَالنَّسَى Both tafadul, selling in excess, and nasa. This is not nisa, okay, nisa is women. Nasa is with the fatha, delayed payment, credit. وَإِذَا وُجِدَ أَحَدُهُمَا If when one of them is found, وَعَدِمَ الْآخَرِ And the other one is not there, حَلَّ التَّفَاضُلُ Selling in excess is allowed, but حَرُمَت nasa. Nasa, delayed payment, is not allowed. In other words, both items have to be exchanged in the gathering. Have you got that? So this applies to currency exchange as well. If you go to currency exchange, yeah, pounds for dollars, they're different genus, aren't they? Yeah, different genus. But when you want to exchange, you got to exchange it there and then. You can't give your pounds and the guy says, you know what, come in an hour's time, I'll give you your dollars. You can't do that. It has to be given there. Yeah, or something in exchange for it, so you know that you're gonna get that. Does that make sense? So you can't give delayed. So this is why it's got to be done in that gathering, in that meeting. Yeah, and now the problem nowadays is with transfer, online transfers. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you transfer online, it takes time for the payment to go. You could be walking on the road transferring a payment. So the whole concept of what is a gathering, a majlis, is changing now because of new technology. Yeah, where people can be on different sides of the world and it's still considered to be in a kind of majlis, a gathering. Okay, so everyone understand this? Yeah, this concept of riba. All right, and this also applies to, for example, like if a woman wants to go and sell her jewelry as well, she goes to the store, she gives her gold, and the shopkeeper will say, you know what, we'll give you your gold later. Not allowed to do that. They have to give it there and then, unless they give it to her and then she says, keep it with you. Have you got it?
But if their gold are less than one's 18 karat, one's 24, is that different genus? Or is it same
No,
genus?
same genus.
It's still the same genus.
Yeah, same genus. Unless the gold has inside of it, let's say some diamonds or something else. Yeah, then in there you have, on one side you have gold and something added to it, and on one side you have only gold. So in this condition, it's going to come a bit later, that what you have to do is the gold and the gold is equal to each other, and then on one side the excess gold is going to be in exchange for the precious stones. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, there's like 100 grams of gold in the necklace, and then with that there's also some diamonds as well, and then on this side there's 150 grams of gold. So the 100 gold for gold is equal, and then that extra 50 is in exchange for the diamond. That's allowed. In other words, Islamically there has to be something in exchange. You can't just be giving someone, conditioning something extra for someone on the other side without anything in exchange for it. There has to be something in exchange for everything. So when you go to the shop to buy a chocolate bar, that 50 pence you give, that 50 pence, all that 50 pence is equal to that chocolate. Yeah, from top to bottom.
Could the shopkeeper just say, look, this is the value of your, in money wise, rather than exchanging, your gold necklace is worth £400. I'll take that off whatever you buy.
I understand.
I'm saying instead of exchanging gold for gold,
Yeah.
you're just basically selling.
That's fine. It's still exchange. It's still exchange. Yeah. So if you say, if, for example, if you got a jewelry store, and I come with a jewelry store with some bangles, and I say to you, look, I've got these bangles and I want to exchange them. You okay? You got a choice. Either you can exchange them for this necklace, or you can have, a discount. You can use this money, something you want to buy in the shop. It's fine, but they got to buy it in the shop there and then. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's got to be done.
You can buy something with it. You can go as credit for something.
Yeah. I mean, the other way around this that my teacher, I remember he mentioned, was what you have to do is basically, you have to tell them that, look, I am giving you this gold as a loan. So let's say he says, the woman wants to buy a necklace, a design necklace, and the design necklace is going to take a week to make. So, but the shopkeeper, he wants something like a security or something, because he's going to design it. So what she can do is, look, keep this with you as a loan, and then when that's done, I'll come back and then we can exchange. Yeah, that's the way around it. Okay, we understand that? Okay, so next, who decides what item is weighed, what item is measured? Who decides, for example, like gold is weighed? Or who decides dates are measured in cups? Who decides that? So the rule for this is whatever the Prophet ﷺ, he explicitly stated in a hadith, then you stick to that. If he didn't explicitly mention it, then it's based upon the practice of the custom of the people. Yeah, whatever the markets normally do, you keep it to that. Have you got that? So for example, like the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, gold and silver are weighed items. Now in the future, if a group of people come and say, from now on we're going to actually measure gold in cups. Yeah. So 1 cup of gold for 1 cup of gold. That wouldn't be allowed. You can't sell like that. Why? Because it won't be exact weight. Measuring in cups, it might be slightly above in this one, because it's not an exact measure. And likewise, he mentioned that wheat is sold in cups. So now in the future, if 2 people come and they want to exchange wheat, but they want to exchange it in weight, not in cups, one wheat can be bigger than the other wheat in size. So less of it would come inside of a cup. So if you were to measure in cups, maybe 2 cups, it would take 2 cups to fill this one and 1 cup to fill the other one. But if you made it in weight, they're exactly the same weight.
Sorry, the Prophet said the wheat is measured weight.
In cups.
Right.
So now if a people came in the future and said, right, we want to exchange wheat in weight, then they wouldn't be allowed. Yeah. You can buy it in weight. You can go to like Tesco and most likely you'll buy wheat in weight. They're in kgs and all that, that's fine. But if you want to exchange it for another type of wheat, yeah, same genus, then that's not allowed. It has to be done in measure. Have you got that? Yeah. But if there's something is like rice, for example, the Prophet didn't mention anything about rice, right? Or he didn't mention anything about chalk, or he didn't mention anything about any other metals that we have. He didn't mention. Then what do? Then it's based upon the markets, whatever the markets usually use. Yeah.
So that might vary from place to place.
Now, very place to place. So, وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ نَصَّ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم, every single thing which the Prophet Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he explicitly stated upon تحريم التفاضل, regarding the unlawfulness of excess on one side. فيه كيلا, that's measured in cups, kales. فهو مكيل, then this item will be counted as makil, as a measured item, abadan, until the day of judgment. وَإِن تَرَكَ النَّاسُ فِيهِ الْكَيْلِ, even if later on in the future people stop selling that item in kales, in cups. مثل الحنطة, like hinta, wheat, sha'ir, barley, tamar, dates, milh, salt. After the 6 things, 4 of the things in the time of the Prophet ﷺ were sold in cups. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ, and every single thing, نَصَّ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم, that the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he explicitly stated ala tahrim, upon the unlawfulness of excess on one side, fihi waznan, which was sold by weight, fahuwa mawzunun, then this will be counted as weighed, mawzun, wazan, abadan, forever, wa in taraka nas, even if people left weighing fihi, like gold, dhahab, and fidda. So in the time of the Prophet, basically are these 6 things. Which of these 6 things did the Prophet ﷺ state that they're supposed to be weighed, and which of them did he mention that they were measured in cups? The 4 things measured in cups, and gold and silver was in weight. You understand that? Okay. What about something which he hasn't mentioned? Like there's so many things in the world. وَمَا لَمْ يَنُصُّ عَلَيْهِ, and that which he did not explicitly mention. فَهُوَ مَحْمُولٌ, then this is interpreted upon the, or based upon the adat, practices of the people. So whatever is normally in the markets, the market practice. Everyone understand that? Yeah. Okay.
So, as well, you mentioned earlier, you go into a shop and sell gold.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I think I mentioned it, you give the gold and you want cash for it. That doesn't fall under interest, that's just normal buying and
So
selling.
gold for cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gold for cash you can sell as much as you like, isn't it? But because cash is an item of riba, does that make sense?
Okay, so
It's a currency.
Oh.
So you have to exchange it there and then. So if I went to the jewelry store and I want to buy a necklace, gold necklace, we've got to do exchange there and then.
Second category.
Yeah. 'Cause I was thinking the other way around, gold, go into the shop and they give you cash for it, they weigh it, measure it.
That's fine. It's fine, but you got to give it there and then. You got to give it to there and then. Everyone understand that? Okay. Next masala. Look at this. You know commodities and currency. There's a difference in fiqh of how these are treated. Commodities are basically anything that's non-currency. Currency we mean gold, silver and cash. Anything that's not gold, silver and cash, anything that's not gold, not silver and not cash, these things, if they're sold, you don't have to take possession of them for the transaction to become complete. You simply have to point at them. or describe them. Like for example, let's say I want to sell this remote control. If I want to sell this remote control, what do? I just have to say to you, do you want to buy this remote control? You go, yeah. Okay, deal's done. You don't even have to touch it for the deal to be done. Yeah, this is with all items of non-gold, non-silver, non-cash. However, gold, silver and cash, if you want to sell that, you have to specify it in the gathering, and once they touch it, that's the thing that they're going to take. So like if you go to the shop now and you want to buy chocolate bar, and you say to the shopkeeper, look, here's 50 pence, I want this chocolate bar, and he gives the chocolate bar, and then you put this 50 pence back in your pocket and you take out 2 20s and a 10. You can do that. But if you say to him, I want this chocolate bar, he can't take out for you another chocolate bar and give it to you. Does that make sense? Yeah, so he's got the chocolate bar and he says to you, wait a minute, take this one. Yeah, you can't do that. If you want that one, if you've agreed to take that one. But with cash, gold, silver, you don't have to do that. Unless once he touches that 50 pence, now that's the one that's his now. Not that 220 and 10 that's in your pocket. That's not his. Have you got that? So this is known as items which are muta'ayyin and ghair muta'ayyin. So certain things in Sharia are automatically specified and they don't have to be specified by the other person touching them, possessing them. Whereas cash, gold and silver, these are things which only become specified once they're touched. So now, everyone understand this? Now let's look at how this works in riba now. Now let's say for example you're selling gold for gold, silver for silver, cash for cash, or gold for anything like that, gold for cash, silver for cash, whatever. If you're selling these things, if I go to the currency exchange and I give pounds, right, I've got to give it to him and he's got to give that to me, and we both have to take possession of it, touch it in the gathering. Does that make sense? Yeah, both got to take possession of it. So aqdu sarfi, the transaction of currency, sarf, currency, gold, silver. Ma waqa ala jins al-athman is that transaction which occurs on the genus of currency, gold, athman, gold, silver and cash. يُعْتَبَرْ فِيهِ الْقَبْضُ إِوَدَيْهِ. In it, it's considered possession of both exchanged items, fil majlis, in the gathering. So if you're doing currency exchange, you got to swap them in the gathering, and they got to take possession of it. Qabd is necessary. So if someone puts the money there and the other guy hasn't touched it yet, that transaction is not valid. وَمَا سِوَاهُ مِمَّا فِيهِ riba, and anything besides that in which there is riba. So besides gold and silver and cash, what other things are there in riba? Wheat, barley, dates. So anything besides cash currency that doesn't have riba that has riba in there, يُعْتَبَرْ فِيهِ التَّعْيِينِ, you have to specify in the gathering. So if you're exchanging like dates for dates, the other guy doesn't have to pick up the dates, touch them. You just have to say, these are your dates. Show them what it is. Yeah, or describe it to him. Here's a box of your dates. Yeah, and you go, okay, don't worry, I'll pick up later. You can do that. Make sense? وَلَا يُعْتَبَرُ فِيهِ التَّقَابُض, and taqabud, taking possession, touching it, is not necessary. But this is only in what? Not gold, not silver, not cash. Because in gold, silver and cash, exchange, possession has to take place. Okay, let's stop here. Everyone understand that?
Yeah. But, what about part exchanging for a car or something like that? So you're giving a car in the city which is valued £2,000 and you're getting something that's worth 10,000. You can put that towards.
That's fine.
It's the same genus, isn't it? Would you class that even though it's not in the same bottle or something?
Measured away.
No, it wouldn't be same genus.
It wouldn't be same genus.
It'd be different. Yeah, it'd be different. It's like Qudoori and I don't know,
There's a book basically.
Zal Talibin. Just because they're books, they're not the same. Does that make sense? Likewise, a car, one car, different car. People buy cars for different reasons. Yeah, but like animals, they're the same. The genus is the same basically. If someone wants to buy a cow, another person that wants to buy a cow will buy it for the same reasons, limited reasons that you buy a cow for, either the meat or the milk or.
The principle of using is just the other commodities. In fact, it's just the dates one because you get lots of different types of dates, and we're saying all dates are counted as one.
I mean, to me, I
one jinns,
can't
that's
can't
it.
see why people would buy other types. I can understand something like bananas. Like bananas, you get different types of bananas anyway. But some bananas are for cooking, some bananas are for different reasons. You can't eat them raw. Whereas dates, I don't know.
You're gonna eat them.
They're all kind of the same thing, really. It's just different tastes.
Would it be the same with fish then? So like I have trout and he has salmon.
Possibly, yeah, food would be different with fish. Yeah, different. So just because it looks the same doesn't mean it's the same. It's what the people do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?